Hello everybody. In this presentation we will talk about the research study The Effects of Integrated Language-Based Instruction in Elementary ESL Learning. We are Macarena Duran, Camila Salarza, and Catherine Nubila. Let's start. This study was conducted by Kim Yub, and the purpose of her research is to understand the impact that English reading and writing have on the oral language development of elementary students who learn English as a second language. In order to achieve her research objective, she compares two different instructional approaches, which are integrated instruction and oral-only instruction. Yub's study is based in the implicit assumption in the ESL research that the language learning processes of ESL students are very similar to native speakers of English. It is stated that ESL researchers argue that learning ESL requires the different types of language input that young children receive from their caretakers in learning their language, and that ESL learners should be, firstly, introduced to simple language skills, and, then, move to more complex ones. However, the author of this research considers that there is a difference between learning English as a second language and learning it as a native language, due to the fact that young ESL learners have shown to learn grammatical structures as chunks with no conceptual understanding of how those chunks can be used in a new linguistic context. In order to carry out her research study, Kim Yub implemented a multiple case study by means of a mixed method which takes into account both qualitative and quantitative aspects of the study. For instance, the personality of the participants was understood as a qualitative variable that might have affected the results of this research. Additionally, Yub provided a quantitative perspective while referring to the amount of answers given by the participants. The participants of the study were two young learners studying in the United States for no longer than 6 months. Both of them came from Asian contexts. Yang, which is the pseudonym that the author gives to this participant, was a 6-year-old Chinese girl. Her native language is Cantonese, and, when the study was being carried, she demonstrated to have emergent literacy skills in her native language. Yang was described as a very outgoing student who had minimal English proficiency. Yuan was 5 years old, she came from Korea, and similarly to Yang, she also showed emergent literacy skills in her native language. Nonetheless, Yang was extremely shy and she didn't provide a great quantity of oral responses to the questions asked. Instead, she only used to answer by nodding her head. 3 main interventions were made: pre-intervention, intervention, and post-intervention. The focus of pre- and post-intervention was to collect information about the proficiency of each participant. During the intervention, a daily oral language assessment was administered right before and immediately after each. Both students received 2 types of instruction, which were integrated and oral language based. Each type of instruction was repeated twice but in different order. Besides, an extensive use writing makes the difference between the treatments. In all other areas emphasized the instruction was identical. Both of the students showed very interesting results. Their oral language performance changed depending on the instructional approach. Even though Yang and Yun made different progresses in the process, the integrated language-based intervention led to greater gains in their oral language development than did oral language-based intervention. The results of this research study show that integrated language-based instruction has a bigger and more important effect on learners' oral performance. After reading and studying Yub's work, it is possible to see the importance of language-based instruction. It seems crucial to include literacy skills when teaching students how to communicate orally and effectively in English. When including reading and writing skills, we are giving students the opportunity to process the input in different manners. It is important for us, as teachers, to become aware of the fact that students should be given as many chances as possible to use the language studied in order to make them able to communicate in the ESL or EFL. Thanks for watching. We hope you like it.